What is up, you guys? Teller checking in with another free play coming your guys' way. You guys know we already hit the first three that I threw your guys' way since we started this segment. Didn't get you guys one last week, and it's a little unfortunate because the free play would have been Alexander Volkov at underdog odds at plus 130, but I'm going to make it up to you guys here. I really feel good about today's spot, or should I say spots I'm going to be throwing you guys. I got two plays coming your guys' way. Please smash that like button right now. If you guys want me to continue to deliver these free plays coming your guys' way, I need you to do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so I can continue to do so. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.
So when Leon Edwards shook the world and knocked out Kamaru Usman in the 5th round, snatching up the UFC's welterweight championship of the world, not only did he open up this opportunity for the UFC to do a massive fight card in his home country, delivering a big fight for the fans, but he opened up an opportunity for one of the UK's top prospects to make his UFC debut in Christian Leroy Duncan. A lot of people believe he is, or has been, one of the best fighters fighting outside of the UFC for some time. The current, or if you want to say former now, Cage Warriors middleweight champion. Now, welcoming CLD to the UFC is no slouch whatsoever. Dusko Todorovic, a UFC veteran that has 3 victories under his belt in the octagon. He also has a victory on Dana White's Contender Series. He's coming off a knockout victory. In fact, he's won 2 of his last 3 fights, and those 2 fights that he won were via finish. So Dusko starting to get his feet wet inside the UFC. He's only 28 years old, plenty of room for growth. Is he going to be a little bit of a tough task for the UFC newcomer in CLD? So let's get to know Christian Leroy Duncan a little bit more so here. We already mentioned that he obtained the middleweight championship over at Cage Warriors. That does carry some weight. We know Cage Warriors is the #1 fight promotion over in the UK. Now, according to Tapology, they have Christian Leroy Duncan ranked the #2 prospect coming out of the UK/Ireland. So Tapology paying their respects to CLD as well. They do feel that he is a very promising fighter. And you take a look at his pro resume. Only 7 fights, but he is a bona fide finisher. Out of his 7 fights, he has finished 6 of them, 5 via KO or TKO. Also has that 1 submission victory there as well, pulling off the rear naked choke in the 1st round. But you see a diverse amount of finishes, right? We have spinning elbows landed. How about the flying knee that he just landed 2 fights ago against the undefeated Dejate Milan, who was 8-0 at the time? Hit him with that flying knee, followed him down to the mat, finished him up there. That was in the 3rd round too, so digging deep. I do believe that his pro resume, although there's not a lot of fights there, he has definitely proven that he is a finisher. Now, as Dusko Todorovic looks to welcome CLD to the octagon, some of the things that he has going for himself here is, first and foremost, he has more than double the amount of pro fighting experience in his back pocket. He's already had the opportunity to get his feet wet inside the octagon multiple times, having faced off with men like Gregory Rodriguez, who he went to a decision against, Punalehi Seriano, Chidi Njokuani, even fighting Michel Pereira outside of the UFC as well. So there's definitely some recognizable names that Dusko has shared the cage with, while on the other hand, you really can't say that as much so for CLD. The last 2 victories that he just had in the octagon, they were both via finish. His last one, he had the ground and pound victory over Jordan Wright in the 2nd round, and then his other victory was a 1st round ground and pound victory against Maki Pitolo. So using his grappling as well, and really causing some chaos down on the mat, which is good to see. We talked about the fact he's only 28 years old. You're seeing him evolve a little bit more so to be that finisher there. Now, when we talk about Dusko's 2 most recent victories inside the octagon, I think that it's crucial to understand that he's going to want to implement the same type of fight tactics that he did in those fights in this fight with CLD. I do not think that he's going to want to trade with Christian Leroy Duncan on the feet. I already talked to you guys about how dangerous CLD is there. Dusko defensively is very much compromised. He has some of the worst striking defense in the UFC, in my opinion, and therefore we have seen him knocked out before. We're talking about a fighter that absorbs 4.54 strikes per minute. We're talking about a fighter that has a 47% significant strike defense. He's really not that defensively sound, and I think that if he plays the open space game, that he's definitely vulnerable to be hit with some big time shots. He's going to want to try to clinch up and try to drag this fight down to the mat somehow and try to work that ground and pound like he did in those past 2 victories. Now, Dusko was just able to implement those fight tactics in 2 of his last 3 fights, but take a look at the fighters that he was able to do that to. Jordan Wright, a fighter that is really not a UFC caliber fighter. If you want to be honest, he's a fun fighter. He's an exciting fighter. He's been able to hang around a little bit longer than some other guys would have, just based on his fighting style. But he's a fighter, after taking his last loss, I expect to see the last of him in the octagon. Maki Pitolo, he's another fighter that's fun to watch. He's a good boxer, but he's really not the most well-rounded fighter. And I'm really just not putting too much stock into those 2 victories that Dusko was able to just pull off. And I think that he's going to have a hard time pulling those type of tactics off against a fighter in Christian Leroy Duncan, who, although we haven't seen him against the most stiff competition, we haven't seen him perform in the UFC, when you break down tape on him, he actually defends takedowns pretty well. If he's taken down for a brief moment, he's able to get right back up to his feet. He's very athletic. He's constantly working to get right back up to his feet. And I have a gut feeling that he should do pretty good stuffing the takedowns of Dusko here. We also will take a look at Dusko Todorovic, his offensive grappling. He's a fighter that has attempted 34 takedowns in the UFC, only solidifying 2 of them. He has a 13% takedown accuracy rate. That is not good whatsoever. Now check this out real quick. You know how we mentioned that Dusko Todorovic is going to have more than double the amount of pro fighting experience? Well, we got to take into consideration the amateur resume of CLD. He has 23 amateur fights. All right, he fought 23 times before turning pro. That is the rarity these days. You don't see a lot of fighters doing that. But you know what? I think it's really not a bad idea. Yeah, he took a few losses while he was learning the fight game, but we've seen that it only made him a better fighter as he eventually looked to turn pro in 2020, and he's really caught his groove. But again, 23 amateur fights under his resume, and actually facing off with some respectable fighters. He was really gaining a lot of skills over that time. He was learning the overall sport of mixed martial arts, and I think that that's a major plus. And you have to take in the consideration of a fighter that has 23 amateur fights. You know, we talk about a fighter, Muhammad Mokaev, right? Muhammad Mokaev, a fighter that had a very lengthy amateur resume before he turned pro, and you could see it when you watch these fighters fight, right? They are way more seasoned than you would think when you just look at their resume and you see 6-0, 7-0. I mean, these are fighters that have learned in the cage. So where are we going with our action? I already told you guys I got 2 plays coming your guys' way here. I was able to grab Christian Leroy Duncan at a -205 line. I threw 4 units at it. I feel very comfortable that he's going to get the job done here. I think he rises to the occasion, and this is a fighter that we all begin to really keep an eye on moving forward. He's a dangerous striker, and stylistically, he's a very, very bad matchup for a guy in Dusko Todorovic, who has very bad striking defense. He puts his little golf ball head on a tee, and I think that CLD is going to be playing Tiger Woods here this upcoming Saturday. Now, for you divas out there that don't like this line, you want a more tasty line, well, how about this? I got an underdog play for you guys. I was also able to grab CLD at a +130 line to hit Dusko Todorovic with that knockout/TKO to get the finish due to strikes. We talked about the fact that CLD has that 1 submission victory on his resume, but there's no question about it. He really favors his striking here, and when you look at Dusko Todorovic and how he's been finished, he's a fighter that has been finished due to strikes. That head's up there, he gets teed off on, and he actually has pretty good submission defense there. So I think it's way more likely that we see the knockout victory for CLD. So we got that underdog play coming your guys' way as well. There we go. Another winner coming your guys' way. That's going to make it 5 in a row. 5 free plays coming your guys' way in a row that we've hit. I feel very confident about it. We'll see if I'm eating my words here, but you guys know we've been on fire with these free plays coming your guys' way. And listen, I want to continue to keep giving you guys free plays, so please do me that favor. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. You guys got to show me some support so I can continue to deliver these videos to you guys. All right, guys, it really means a lot to me. Go check me out on all my social media as well, on Instagram at MMAFortuneteller_. I'm on Twitter at the MMA Teller. Go give me a follow over there. I appreciate you guys. You guys enjoy your fight week, and you catch up with me on my social media all throughout the week, because we're going to be having a blast leading up to Saturday, and you guys better enjoy the fights. It's going to be a hell of a day on Saturday. UFC 286. Who do you guys got in the main event? Does Kamaru Usman get his revenge, or does Leon Edwards win the trilogy and maintain the UFC welterweight championship of the world? I want your guys' thoughts there as well. Please comment below. All right, guys, signing out. Teller.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.